Hey boys and girls, Miss Gidget jumping on to talk to you about Chapter 10. Chapter 10, we're moving on to graphs and different objects and how we can represent things using graphs or bar graphs. So right now, you do not have to turn to a specific page. Just follow along with me and listen. Miss Gidget kind of cut and paste different things so I can talk to you about these graphs. Like I said before, we will be skipping around this lesson as well, just trying to get the main points so I can get y'all finished with first grade, knowing all your basic skills. So do not flip through your pages right now. Pay attention. There's going to be multiple videos because I can only video like 5 minutes at a time. So I'm going to start with this one and talking about what graphs are. So for this one, we're going to talk about bar graphs first. So in a bar graph, each bar shows information. You can compare the lengths of the bars. What title describes this graph? So when we're looking at a graph, we want to look at all the information first. There's a bunch of information going on here. Some graphs have labels on the side. They also have all the items and a bunch of different numbers that represents the items. So this one doesn't have a title. We will talk about that shortly. So let's just look at our labels. So our first step is to read the graph. So look at the labels and items that's represented on this bar graph. So we have art tools. So our art tools are markers, paintbrushes, and crayons. And then these numbers, we see all these numbers at the bottom. What do they mean? These numbers mean number of children. So, for example, markers. How many children have markers? Well, we go all the way to the end of this bar graph and we get to this line. And if we go down this line, how many have markers? 5, correct. So paintbrushes. How many children have paintbrushes? Well, if we go all the way to the end of this bar graph and we go down, how many have paintbrushes? 6, correct. Crayons. Let's go right here all the way down. Stop right here where it stops and go down this line. That's number 2. So 2 kids have crayons, 6 kids have paintbrushes, and 5 kids have markers. So if we had to name this graph, we could probably name this graph art class because it sounds like an art class, right? An art class would have children that have markers, paintbrushes, and crayons. Or we could do art center. There's a bunch of different names that we could come up for this one. All right. So for this one right here, the top one, we also can use graphs making graphs by using pictures. A picture graph uses pictures to show information. So just looking at this one, because our first step for graphs is to read the graph, look at the labels and items. So this has a title, Children at the Playground. Doesn't have any labels right here, but we also see this right here. This is called like a key. So each stick figure stands for one child. So they're using stick figure people for their drawings. So if each one of these pictures means one child, let's look at the swings. How many children are on the swings? We have 1, we have 2, we have 3, we have 4. 4 children on the swings. What about the slide? How many children are on the slide? We have 1, we have 2. So there's 4 children on the swing. I'm going to trace this. And they have 2 children on the slide. So how many more, are there more children on the swing or the slide? The swing. All right, this is the end of video number 1. Go ahead and watch video number 2 and I'll see you in a little bit.